Hi everyone, hope you're all. This is Coins Kid. I'm just going to dive into some little altcoin gems for you to take a look at. Yeah, these are just the gems that I've picked up from the live streams that I've been doing. There's a couple of good ones here. I'm just going to show you them straight off the bat. Okay, so this is CQT. This is trade on Kraken. This is a 4-hourly time frame. If I switch to the daily time frame right here, you can see you've come up in this whopping wave and you've had this retracement. So for me right now, you're almost on the cusp of breaking this high, and I think you're looking at beautiful upside just there. Okay, so it's looking good. Like I said to you, the bulls go up the stairs. Look at that. It's a little bull flag outbreak. Right now, you're forming another little bull flag. Potentially get a breakout and you're off, and you've got these beautiful buy and go to the beat signals just there. Okay, so it's looking good. It's looking great for continuation. I think you retrace into this high, and I do think that once you break it, you're looking at appreciation here for this particular project. So straight away off the bat, your forecast for me is up there around about $3.82 at this point. That's why I think that once you break this high here, you're looking at that at minimal, but I do think you could get overextended here. This white line is from previous TA in the live stream, so you could end up towards a $7.16 mark. So from here right now for this particular project, you could be looking at a further 432% appreciation, so it's looking quite tidy. Okay, so at the minute on the 4-hourly time frame, if we take a look, you've actually broken out and you've come back to a key level support just there. Okay, retracement. So just here you've got a level of resistance, and you've actually come up and back tested at support just there. So you can see you've held it as support, and right now I think you've just put in a bit of a rising wedge pattern just there. And have you come back to it as support? Let's have a look at this. So potentially right now you could get some cheeky bids down here on this white line again for this particular project if you're looking for an entry point. Okay, so you might get lucky down there at $1.25 for this particular project. You can see on a 4-hourly time frame that this is where the 55 EMA is coming up to as well. So it could well potentially be on its way to that, you know, before continuation. Because if we take a look at this particular breakout pattern, it's a bit of a cup and handle inverse head and shoulders. You can see you've not actually got to that technical target of $1.69 just there for this, so it's looking at appreciation. Okay, so if we do get some little cheeky bids down here on this white line at 125, you could be looking at upside of 34% for this little project moving forward. But yeah, it's looking good for continuation. You've broken out here, you've basically got a big beautiful cup and handle, you come back, you broke the neck line, you're off basically. Now you obviously got resistance, and this is where you can see you run into resistance. Once you start to break that and get to this technical target, you can see you're taking out that resistance, and your last point of resistance is the all-time high. And I do think that once you get through that, you're looking at those price predictions up there, primarily 1618 at $3.82. But I do think you're looking to get overextended, and I do think, you know, eventually you could be looking at that. At that point, you know, we'll readdress and see where potentially we could go to, because you could be looking at something like this, you know, a wave 1, a wave 2, and this could be a bit of a wave 3. It could actually go beyond that, but we'll see. A wave 4 and then a wave 5 to wherever. So this could be a lovely little coin moving forward from here. Okay, pay attention to it. It's called CQT, and that's it, Covalent or something, I think it is. So yeah, that's one coin. So I'm going to jump on to the next coin right now. Okay, so the next coin that we covered in the live stream was Proton. Basically the ticker is XPR. It sounds a little bit like XRP, doesn't it? But this is moving really well, and I mean, it moves so impulsively. Look, and we've actually met a technical target just there. I think we were doing this in a live stream a few days ago. We've actually come up and met the technical target, which is amazing, out of this large sort of inverse head and shoulders pattern that we've got. Look, just see that inverse head and shoulders pattern, reversal pattern, you could call it a cup and handle. There's your handle, you've broken out, see you later. You've met the technical target, and right now you look like you're coiling up for continuation. So you've basically come down a little bull flag, okay, and you've got a little bit of continuation potentially from there to there. Okay, we're breaking out, so potentially, you know, you're working your way through the fibs right here. You're looking like you're going to come up to 0.618 at least. If we look on the daily time frame right here, you're looking good for continuation, pretty much like everything is. You know, you've broken out 0.50, you're holding above 0.50 at the moment, so potentially I do see it retracing to this 0.213, so it's looking for continuation. You know, I think it's absolutely going to retrace to the high, and it's absolutely going to go on some, because this particular project on the weekly time frame is almost putting in a buy and go to the beach on the red line. The 55 is just coming into play here. You can see you've got a buy and go to the beach where the 10 is crossing the 20. That's extremely bullish, like rocking horse shit. Okay, and once you get back above that red line, wow, and if you can fall back into that support and get an entry, that would be absolutely amazing, because, you know, this thing could absolutely take off, and you could be looking at 53 cents That's the minimal forecast that I've got here for this particular project, and I think from here right now that is a whopping 3,375% upside for this particular project. XPR is looking really, really strong. And again, nothing I say is financial advice, but potentially, you know, we're on the weekly time frame right here. You could do something like this. You come up, you know, you come up to this high, you sort of get rejected and roll back, and then you're breaking out of a large cup and handle basically, and it gives you a technical target to the upside. So this for me is looking at least a full retracement to this high. So from here right now, you know, the retracement in itself is 367%, so it's not a bad little trade moving forward, providing it continue to keep doing what it's doing and it's holding support. So yeah, if we take a quick look on the daily, you can see that it's looking really, really strong. You know, you're falling back into the 10. If you do start to lose the 10 EMA, but you can see you're basically breaking out of a bull flag on the 4 hour there. Yeah? You retrace, bull flag breaking out. This particular bull flag gives you a beautiful upside target to retrace to this 786. I didn't know it's a golden ratio. I do apologise. To the golden ratio where you potentially run into that as resistance. So yeah, I do think you've got more upside from here. Potentially, you know, 38% upside, run into a level resistance, start to roll back. You know, because it is getting a little bit parabolic there, isn't it? So it needs to cool down a little bit. I would imagine that you run into that and roll back to 050 support. So, but it's moving. It's doing really, really well. It's doing everything it needs to for continuation. I am looking at a full retracement here for this particular project. I've actually took a bit of time out to look at this particular project, and I like it. I do like this project. I've never even heard of it until one of the Pateons mentioned it the other day in the live stream. So yeah, it is looking really good for continuation. I do think that potentially any point is a good entry point because it's going to take off. I think one of them coins. Again, not financial advice. It's a bit of a low cap gem. So that's XPR. Okay. So the next coin I'm going to look at is BPRO. This is doing really, really well. This is brought to my attention by one of the patrons as well. So basically, you've been coming down in this level of support just there, and you've got this level of resistance. It's basically a handle of a large cup and handle, and equally you could classify it as the right shoulder of potential head and shoulders. Okay, so your inverse head and shoulders, you've got your left shoulder there, you've got your head, and you're putting in a monster right shoulder, which is a depleting selling pressure. It's basically one big massive ascending triangle, you know, big huge WW bottom pattern, and once you break the resistance just there, you're looking at a retracement. So this could be a really nice little trade moving forward. It's doing everything it needs to. Okay, it's holding support for continuation. So right now you are in a technical target to this. Okay, and I don't think that's quite been met, because what you've done, you've broken out of a beautiful W bottom just here, you've broken out and you fell back into its support, and right now you're starting to pick up again. So I do imagine that you're going to run into that as resistance. Okay, that's a technical target, but like I said to you, you retrace into these levels, and in multiple videos I said to you what you do, you retrace the levels of resistance, resistance, resistance until you retrace. Okay, and once you retrace, you break that, you're looking at beautiful upside here. I think, you know, the technical target to the upside for there is roughly 217%, but for me, I think you're looking at retracement to the all-time high, and hopefully if we can get through the fibs right here, you could be looking at a lovely little retracement, you know, around about 387%. But if we do start to go beyond that, you could start looking at some of these fibs for price predictions moving forward as we start to create that parabolic rise here, you know, just pretty much like what we did here when we broke out last year for this particular project last January, this year, sorry, I do apologise, where we came down, had that correction, and we started to march up. Because for me, that potentially this could be wave 1, 2, you've put in a monster wave 3, and right now you've put in a monster wave 4, and you could be potentially on the cusp of wave 5. Now wave 5 can potentially be as large as wave 3, so this is where you could potentially see this appreciation bringing you up to these fib levels just here again. So it would be amazing. So from here right now, if you was to get to the 1272, you could be looking at almost a 10x. The 1414 is around about 15x, and you know what, I do anticipate most projects getting to the 1618 could be around about a 26, 27x right there for this particular project BPRO. So it's looking really good. It's doing everything it needs to. You're making the high lows, you're in some technical targets to the upside. I think you retrace into these levels of resistance. You know, once you come up here and you break this neckline, you're really getting the party started for this particular project. So we're putting this potentially big cup and handle pattern as well. So that's BPRO. But the other project that I'm covering here is Verasity, VRA. This could be a lovely little mover going forward as well. It's almost in price discovery just here, and I've done some Elliott wave counts, and it looks feasible. You know, it looks like it's geared up for the continuation. I think you're putting in wave 1 now. I think you've had a wave 2 retracement, and right now, if you break this high, you're starting to form this wave 3, which could potentially take you up towards that sort of 20-cent mark right there, 19-cent mark. Do apologise. You know, and then you have your retracement, and then you get the blow off top. Okay, so the way I got the wave 5 is potentially, you know, a rough kind of same kind of, you know, run as the wave 3, because it usually is the same length. It's definitely the second largest length, so you know, that is what I'm looking at. And I think based off fibs as well, off this extension, you could be looking at potentially getting to the 2.272 and the 1618 at least. You know, that's where I think this third wave is going to, and you're going to retrace to the 1272 potentially there, or even the 1414. You know, everyone's thinking you're entering the bear, but I think you're going to get that sort of blow off top right there for this particular project come the end of the year, but I could be wrong. So this could be a beautiful little trade moving forward as well. Veracity, the ticker's VRA, you know, just from here to there is 287%, you know, but if we start to go onwards and upwards to our forecast here, you know, the extended wave 5, Elliott wave theory is around about a 19x, but if we do go to 2.72, which I do see in bull markets, I mean, Solana broke out and it went to 2.272, is a 13x from this point. So that's Veracity, VRA. It's looking pretty good for continuation. Now, an entry point for me would be any support. So right now, this is the daily. You can see you've got buy and go to the beach on the 10 and the 20. So if you start to fall back into these EMAs, that's your support right now. You can see you've broken this beautiful W bottom. You're looking to break this high. I think you're almost breaking that high, almost there, aren't you? So with that, you are putting an impulsive wave target from this high. So I think that is potentially where you run into a low resistance on the next impulsive wave up, just here. You're looking at 07442, where you run into a resistance, potentially roll back to this all-time high. You know, if you start to miss this run here, that is where you want to put some cheeky bids in on this previous all-time high at around about 05665, because you'll see it run into the 1618, roll back to the swing high, and then continue with its run that it's under. Okay, so it's looking really good for continuation. So that's VRA. So this is called Curate. I think this is a real low cap gem, I think, from what I remember. The ticker on this is XCUR USDT. This will be the final one that I'm going to show you, but right now you look like you're on a retracement level, and these are my forecast predictions up here. You know, I'm looking at this potential play here of around about $56 up there, you know, and I do think that you're conforming. You're coming up in this beautiful ascending triangle right now. You run into resistance just there, this WW bottom neckline. If we switch to the 4-hourly time frame, we can see how we're looking on that. So yeah, you're coiling up. You've actually gotten above it, and you're holding it as support right now, and you're forming some kind of horizontal just there. It's a continuation pattern. So providing you can hold that and start to shoot up, you have got a technical target out of that. Okay, so it might be a good idea to put some cheeky bids on 35352, because you're hovering around there. Let's have a look at the technical target. So you've done something like this. Okay, I've seen a very similar pattern on V-chain like this. If you do get rejected here, there is a potential to come down and put in a left shoulder. Okay, so you've got your right shoulder, your head, and a right shoulder there, and you could be looking at a breakout, you know, of an inverse head and shoulders. But if you do start to go up here, okay, and take off, this would be your technical target from there to there. So look, pretty much boom, it takes you to that high just there. And again, you know, you've got a massive big potential inverse head and shoulders at that point, which gives you another technical target. If I go from there to there, once you start and break that level of resistance, so these are all bullish patterns. Look, so you could be looking at that's $7.7 there. So this could really move quite quickly, to be honest with you. And I think that once you start to move up there like that, you'll get the full retracement, and you could be looking at a whopping little trade here. Where are we now? Around about there, aren't we? So to retrace to that high is a 204%, but then to take out that high and move through the fib targets right here, you know, I think you could be in for a whopper here of around about 15x on this particular project, Curate, XCUR USD. And obviously it's all about support. You know, if you continue to hold support like you've done here, support, roll over, support, come up here, roll over, support, eventually, you know, this particular line of support that you've got on the go right now is going to hold you in good stead to get to these forecasts. Just like this particular line was resistance, you broke out, boom, you're flipping a switch, you're reversing, aren't you? So it's looking good. It's looking good for continuation. You know, I'm going to start and do more of these live streams, because some of the Pateons are pulling out some absolute gems that I would never even heard of. So that's basically the end. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that update. There's a little altcoin gems. I think I've done 5 there. I'll do some in the week and do another update next week just to bring your attention to them. Okay, take care everyone. Bye bye.